Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm back with another video here. I finally got my whiteboard, which is awesome. I'm excited about this thing. It was only like 2 weeks late with COVID, but that's all right. I finally did get it. And I'm not going to leave a bad review because I know the climate, same thing with what's going on with all of us, is delayed shipments. I think I've had 8 or 10 of them in the last week. So thankfully they're FBA, so I should be getting a reimbursement for those. So anyway, if you haven't already, guys, like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm coming to you from my illustrious attic. It's not finished yet, so that's why you see the drywall. Still a work in progress, but it's getting there. So I want to cover one of the most important topics. From a little red, I was out in the sun all day. It's a beautiful day, but very cold tonight, about 40 degrees. But at any rate, I want to talk about one of the most important things when it comes to launching a product. So I've been getting some questions personally from some newer sellers. You know, the formula has always been, right? Get a cheap product. You can start for a few $1,000s. Get a cheap product. Get a lightweight product. Get a product that you can ship over, right? A product that's going to be cheap to ship, inexpensive to produce, and you can make a ton of money on that, right? Here's the problem with that, is that most people are doing exactly what you're doing. Most new sellers are doing exactly that. And number one, and I don't blame them, they don't want to take the risk, right? So if you don't want to take the risk and you don't have a huge budget, what are you going to do? You're going to do a smaller product. That may work. However, it's harder than ever to do it. And because more people are jumping on Amazon every day. I believe the number is like 3,000 sellers a day. Now, only a certain percentage of those make it. I believe that's only like 10% of those sellers stay on. But that's still a lot of sellers every single day to compete with. And I've been saying this in the past. I like bigger items. Now, let me clarify that. A bigger item, definitely, because it's harder to get into a bigger item, an oversized item. Number one, though, it's more expensive to ship. Number two, it's more expensive to produce typically. And also, in addition to that, you have to ship it to multiple warehouses, which again adds to the shipping cost. The reason I like that is because the competition is lower. I'm not competing with as many sellers. And in addition to that, you know, if you're selling upwards of the $40 to $60 price range, that's actually, despite what people think, where most of the sales happen. The impulse buys, I've always been told, is about up to $50, but it's actually a little higher. A recent video I watched said it was around $62, and I believe that. The price is higher. There are more people than ever shopping online. They're willing to pay for it. They trust Amazon. So if you're going to sell on Amazon, I would want to look for a product that's bigger for me, if you can afford to, because it's going to put you in a smaller group of sellers. But number two, I want to look for a product that at least sells in that range. Simply because if I have a product in that range, I'm, again, differentiating myself from the competition, the lower competition. So let's talk about launching a product and what's so important. The biggest questions I get are about what product should I launch? When I get examples, it's usually the same type of thing that I was doing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the 2 products that I released and the 2 that failed. And I'm going to tell you why they failed, and looking back on it, the mistakes that I made, and then I'm going to show you the winning formula for my new product, my newest, not my newest product, but my most successful product by far, and why it works so well, I believe. So let's get right to it. So number one, and I'll flash it on the screen, is going to be, I launched a unicorn wall decal set. So what that was is I did a 4-pack. It's no longer on Amazon. Feel free to look. You will no longer find it. But it was a 4-pack, which helped differentiate it. Here's where I made my mistakes. So first of all, I wanted to include a height chart, which I try to get produced. I get somebody on Fiverr to make me a sample. Got it sent to the Chinese factory. Did get it made. but it wasn't correct for the height. The person I was dealing with was in Pakistan. They didn't understand inches. I tried to explain it. There's definitely a communication deficit there. They kept giving me centimeters, and I was trying to explain to him that in the United States, we don't use that. Yes, we're the only ones, I know. We don't use the metric system here, not typically. If you're in science, sure. But if your daily life, you don't use the metric system. For height, we go by inches. Or, you know, football field, if you think about it. I mean, American football, we go by yardage. So that was a big problem because they couldn't make the correct height because the height chart didn't match up with the inches. So, you know, it showed 1 foot, but it was like 1.5 feet. So it was a complete mess. I didn't know how to fix it. It was just too difficult. So I just launched the 4-pack. But the 4-pack was still a differentiation. However, I launched the same style unicorn decals that pretty much everybody else had. I didn't get anything custom made. The quality was decent. The price was good. I did sell some, but it was very disappointing. Too many other people came up with that same differentiation. I didn't have a different style, and ultimately it failed. It failed because I didn't have a different style, and I didn't differentiate it proper enough, and it was a smaller item that the competition was very high, even though it was very low when I started it. So it doesn't always matter when you see competition low, demand high. That doesn't guarantee you're going to sell the product. It doesn't even come close to guaranteeing you're going to sell anything. That's why I like the bigger products. But that's why I failed, because the competition was too high. The price killed me. Competitors lowered their prices. I had to lower mine. My price margin wasn't good. For the money that I was spending in PPC, and we'll talk about this, I spent so much on PPC that I didn't have a lot of profit because it was a smaller item. So if I'm spending $3 for every item I sell, and I'm only making $5, then I only make $2 a sale. That's not going to get me anywhere, especially if I'm going to sell 5 a day, 10 a day. What, $10 a day? It's a start, but it's not going to get me to where I want to be. And nor was I selling that many. So think about this. You cannot just get a small product and copy off what everybody else is doing. It doesn't work that way. It's not going to work. Very unlikely. And I keep getting... There's a particular seller that I've been talking to, and I'm trying to help out. He's going to launch a product. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's a smaller item. But, you know, I'm not impressed with the differentiation. I want him to do well. I think he's making the same mistake that many new sellers are making, doing small products that aren't well differentiated. And they're spending too much on PPC and not making enough on the product compared to what they're spending on PPC. Now, why is their PPC higher? Their PPC is higher because the product's not differentiated well enough, or they don't get good reviews because they put out a bad product. So let's talk about that. So yeah, my first product, again, unicorn wall decal. Let's talk real quickly about my second product that I launched. That was a failure. It was a unicorn. It was an eyebrow nose hair trimmer. Now, the numbers on this looked spectacular. And what it was is there was a lipstick eyebrow trimmer. It was a lipstick on the outside. When you opened it up, you could trim your eyebrows, you could trim your nose hairs, whatever. That is no longer up either, and I did get an intellectual property claim on that item. Whether justifiably or unjustifiably, it's still on my account. Why did I get that? And this is a problem many of you are going to run into, and Paul's talked about this as well. I got that because my item was so similar looking to an as seen on TV product. Definitely stay away from those products. They will get you. They're out looking for you. They will get you. So it was too similarly. It looked like it. I never claimed to be them, and I probably could fight this and maybe win it. I never claimed to be their product, but I made one big mistake. And this was a big mistake, and I shouldn't have made it. I didn't mean to make it. So at one point, my listing was suppressed, and I think it was because I didn't have a full white background. So what I did is I took a picture from, it must have been AliExpress or whatnot, where I bought the product, DHgate, and I put it on the main listing just to see if the listing would go active again. I never intended on keeping the picture up there. Well, that was a big mistake because that was the same picture that the As Seen on TV one had, and I didn't know that. So what ended up happening was I ended up getting suspended, and you could say that's justifiable. I took somebody else's picture and used it as my own. Did I mean to keep it on there? No, it was my fault. I paid for that with an intellectual property complaint. I tried to get it resolved myself. The company wouldn't even respond to me. I could have paid a lawyer to write a letter and do all the work, but it wasn't worth it. But here's the whole point. I had it up for many, many months without a problem, with my own picture. So I wasn't getting suspended before I put their picture on there. Again, not intentional. To keep it up there, it was just to test it. I simply forgot about it. I hadn't sold any, so I wasn't really worried about it. I actually got the intellectual property complaint when I had an FBM. I had already pulled out all my stock and already had it at my house. If anybody wants to buy an eyebrow trimmer, no. But in all seriousness, I already had it at my house. It was FBM. I didn't expect to sell any. I hadn't sold any under FBA. I didn't expect to sell any under FBM. So I didn't really worry about the picture, and I should have really thought about that. And I got that complaint. But again, my fault. Part of it I was deserving. Certainly, I wouldn't want somebody to use my picture. I did, put that point across to the seller, but they're a big-time company. They don't care about you. So I wasn't going to spend the money to get it resolved. So anyway, those are my two filler products. The numbers look great. And that's what I'm getting from a lot of new sellers. They're saying, these numbers look great. High demand, super high demand. It's an 8 or a 9. And low competition, right? Doesn't mean that it's going to sell. I had an eyebrow nose trimmer that didn't look any different, really, than most of the other ones out there. How was I differentiating myself? Now, I tried to do a price. I tried to emphasize price. It didn't work. People probably just didn't trust it. So how are you going to sell your item if you find the same small item that everybody else has and they have more reviews than you and you haven't launched your product yet? Why would they buy yours? So think about it. If you don't find a way to bundle it or to differentiate it and make it better, you're going to fail more than likely. It's not going to sell. It's not going to be a good business model. You're going to say Amazon doesn't work and you're going to give up. So if you want to do it that way, be my guest. But you're going to find out that your sales, even if good at first, will drop. It's not going to work in the long term. I promise you, in today's climate, it might have worked 5 years ago. It does not work today. So unless you're the first one to the market with a brand new product, it's just not going to work. So think about that. So let's talk about how to launch a great product and what I've done with my most recent, hugely successful product, why it's doing so well. So that's what we're going to talk about now. Number one, this is what you absolutely have to have. You have to have, number one, and I've preached this, and we've all preached this, you have to have great pictures. Bad rating. Great pictures, right? You have to have them. Here's the thing about having a great picture, okay? Why do you have to have a great picture? And I mean pictures, infographics, the whole deal. But that main picture's got to be stupendous. But before you have great pictures, and this is going to be number 2, but it really should be number 1, you have to have a great product. Now, what do I mean? Under this, I'm going to say you have to have a great differentiation. I don't know if I'm spelling that right, but you have to have great differentiation. So here's the thing. You know, if you walk into a store and you buy an item, that item, you can touch it. You can feel it. If you had an item that was, let's just take this marker, okay? Now, well, let's not take this marker. It's probably not a good thing. Aha, I'm doing some work. Let's take this drill, okay? Now, I can pick this item up. If I go in to buy this, it's a Craftsman, so I think it's probably Sears. If I go into wherever and buy this drill, I can feel how heavy it is. It feels sturdy. The battery, it feels good. It feels like a nice solid drill. I might even be able to turn it on, right? Play around with it. There's a lot of things I can do. Maybe you're buying, who knows, a candle. You can smell that candle. All your senses can be used to do that, to check that item out. You're not going to have that luxury on Amazon. So that's why your pictures are so very important. But part of that picture is your differentiation in the product. Now, if you can show your differentiation in the picture, that is so very important. And what do I mean? My favorite way to do things is a bundle. So with a bundle, let's say I had that drill and I had special drill bits with it. If I had different things with that drill, that differentiates me from somebody who just has a drill. Now I can put that in the pictures. You can see that what you're getting, and that's great. So if you click on that, then you can see my other pictures in my description of what's describing that, but not so much the description, but the other pictures describing how good that drill is, infographics showing what the features are that my drill and my differentiation, my bundle has, my special drill bits have, that yours does not have. The other guys doesn't have. So you really have to have a great differentiation, first of all, and that differentiation has to be shown in those pictures. That's what's so important. That's why bundles are so good, or a differentiation. If I made that drill better, if it could go faster than all the other drills, would that be easy to show in the main picture? Not necessarily, because it's usually just a weight picture. So it's going to be hard to show that feature. Now, if I had a special green drill with an extra long drill bit, I could probably show that in the main picture. So think about that. You want something that you visually can see in your picture. That is so very important. Number two, you've got to have a great product. Now, that should go without saying, but here's what I mean. If you want to have a product that's going to sell, you have to really wow the customer. When they buy that product, if the pictures were great and the differentiation looked great, and then they get the product and it's junk, guess what? Your review is going to be a 1, a 2, a 3. It's not going to be a good review, and it's going to hurt your overall sales. You get enough of those bad reviews, there you go. You're not selling anything. Then you have products sitting for how long? And there's not much you can do about that. So you got to get good reviews. And the way you do that, you don't control your reviews unless you're cheating. And if you try to do that, you're probably going to get suspended. I would not recommend that. You need good reviews, and you need to get a lot of good reviews quickly. Now, you can't control the reviews, but you can control your product quality. So I mentioned in previous videos that the product, I have 2 main products right now. The product I really was questioning whether or not I wanted to reorder. The reason for that is because my quality, I don't feel it's up to my standards. And it's not bad, but it's not great. It's good. And my reviews reflect it. It's good. They're above 4 stars, which I'm actually surprised by. But for the money, it's actually a great value, I think. But the quality, it's good. It's not great. I want great quality. And that's going to get me great reviews. And that's going to get me more sales. So people ask themselves, how can I sell? It's so hard to, there's so many other sellers. It's hard. On those smaller items, it is much harder. Typically, yes. But if you do a great differentiation, and it doesn't have to be a big product, it can be a higher priced item, the more value you add in a bundle, the better. What do I mean? So if I were to take that drill, add drill bits, and then add an extra long extension cord, let's say, or an extra long battery, that would make it even better. Now, maybe it only cost me $5 extra for a better battery, but maybe I can charge an extra $15 for that battery. There you go. There's your differentiation. And the higher priced product you have, if I'm competing with the same words as a regular drill, maybe they're selling their drill for $30, but maybe I'm selling mine for $50. Why are people going to buy mine? Because of my bundle. They're going to buy mine because of my bundle, my extra long battery, my special drill bits, right? That's what's going to make mine worth more. And if you were to go buy all those separately, the drill bits, the extra battery, which probably wouldn't even be compatible, it's probably going to cost you more than the $50. So I'm adding more value by adding more items in and a better bundle. So I'm also getting higher priced, and I'm also bidding on the same keywords that they are bidding on, but I have a bigger margin. So if I only paid $5 extra for the battery and maybe a couple extra bucks for the drill bits, maybe I paid, let's say, $10 more, but I'm selling mine for $50 and they're selling theirs for $30. There's a $20 difference. Now, true, when you raise your price, your fees do go up. But I bet I have an extra $7, $8 to work with that he doesn't have that's selling just that regular drill. So when I run my PPC, if I spend $8 a sale, then I'm making as much profit as he's making before PPC. Does that make sense? So that's why bundling or differentiating your item and making it better is so important. If you add value that way, you can do it cheaper than buying them separately. And you can increase the cost of your item, and you can bid on those same keywords that other people are bidding on, and you can make more money per item. I hope that makes sense. These are so very important. And I think you need to really pay attention to great pictures, but you have to back it up with a great differentiation, which shows in your pictures, and you have to back it up with a great product that is a quality product, even if it costs you a little extra, because it's going to matter to that customer when they get it, and they're going to give you better reviews. The better reviews will lead to more sales. Does this all make sense? So, number 3. I mentioned good reviews. Now, you need to get a lot of reviews, right? So, how? How do you get a lot of reviews quickly? Here's what I've done with my new one. So I feel like on my product now, I have great pictures, okay? I tested them out with people. You can do split tests, but I'm not going to cover that here, but there are sites that can do that. I took my pictures to people, a lot of different people. I asked them, what do you think is better? And I went with the best picture that was picked. Number 2, the product I feel had more quality, and we'll talk about pricing, but I also feel for a better price. So you need to get good reviews to get good sales. How do you do that? You need to get as many reviews as possible to start. So what you could do, and I'm not recommending this, as far as I know, it's not against the Amazon terms and conditions. I'll tell you one thing that's definitely not is the early reviewer program. So you can get early reviewer, which I have done, program, okay? I've done the early reviewer program. What is that? You don't have to be brand registered. Early reviewer program gives you up to 5 reviews, I think it is. It's $60, but it's well worth it. So they basically get incentivized, and it's all within terms and conditions to give you a review. And once you get 5 reviews, from there on, it's over. You've spent your $60, but it's well worth it. You can get 5 quick reviews, and that always helps. The more reviews you get, if you sold a quality product and you had great pictures that matched with that demand or exceeded their expectations, your reviews will be good. You don't have to worry about your reviews because there's nothing you can do about them except for make a great product, right? So that should get you some good reviews. Number 2, what I've done with my second product that's successful, I've used VPawn. Now, I'm not recommending you do this or don't do this, but I did do this. And if you looked at Jump Send within Jungle Scout, it's the same type of thing. Coupon codes. Now, people say these might not work anymore, but what they do, you're going to lose money for every sale, okay? There's no getting around that. That's okay, because you're trying to get as many reviews as you can. Now, if you can do those coupon codes. The best way I can tell you how to do that is if you have Jungle Scout, they explain to you how to do it on Jump Send. I haven't had much luck with Jump Send, but the process to get the coupon codes is the same that I've used on VPawn. Now, when I did VPawn, it was $100. Okay, that $100 I think got me 30 days. I only did one launch. I think I sold 30 or 40 products, but I got a ton of reviews from that, and they happened to be good reviews because the product was good. Like I said, it was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. So my reviews were good. And I use coupon codes, and those are within the terms and conditions of Amazon, unless something's changed, because they allow you to do coupon codes, okay? So I've done those with VPawn. Again, check it out for yourself. Don't take my advice on it. Check it out for yourself. I did do it with my second product, and it was wildly successful, getting me a lot of reviews. Now, they could have been bad reviews, because it doesn't guarantee you're going to get good reviews, but they happen to be pretty good, because my product's pretty good. It's good. Again, not great, but it's good enough to be 4+ stars. So, which is really where you want to be. So yeah, you could do VPawn or early review program. I recommend you at least do the early review program every single new launch, without question. It's going to get you a lot more reviews quickly. And once you get those first 3, 4, 5 reviews, and if they're good reviews, it's really going to get you going. It's really going to get you selling quickly. So So important. Again, this is $60 for the early review program unless it's changed. VPON was $100. I have done both. With my most successful product, I only did this. With my second product, which is also very successful, but doesn't make nearly as much because it's a lower price item, I have done both of these. So that's a way you can launch your product very aggressively. I also launched with a very aggressive price with my most successful product, and I went up. So let's talk about, you have to have competitive pricing most of the time. Competitive pricing. Yes, my writing sucks. Competitive pricing. So you have to have that, especially initially. Now, you might not be making much, or you might be coming close to breaking even, but for your first product or your first shipment, it's not really that big of a deal. You need to get reviews so you can build a product. And you know what? If you only can afford to order 200, 300 and you sell out, if it's successful, when you get it back in, you'll be able to likely get back to where you were. Everybody says you got to order a ton of product. It's not always true, but we've always preached, you can order anywhere from 200 to 300. On my most successful one, I only ordered 250, and it's wildly successful right now. My other one, I ordered 500 because it was less expensive. I sold that. I ordered another 500, sold that. I have another 500, some coming in. The reason I don't order more is because I'm still not fully sold on it, even though it's making me about $800 a month profit. But it took me a while to get there. It didn't just happen. I really had to push my PPC. I really had to push the reviews through the VPON and getting those and through early review program. And it really paid off. My PPC eventually started dropping, but still, it's still at like 40%. But that's a whole other topic. I really go by my overall sales, not by just what it says on the ACOS. And we can talk about that in another video. But, so, you got to have competitive pricing to start. You can raise it later. I just wouldn't raise it too quickly. Now, if it's around a holiday, I found that I have been able to raise it 20, 30% and make a great profit. So that might be your exception around the holiday. But just raising it in general really quickly, it's probably not going to work out well. So I like to price my value really high, but my pricing somewhere in the middle. That's just my style. That's how I did it, and that's why it's doing so great. So it had great pictures. I think I over-delivered on the product value, on the product itself. I feel like it had a great differentiation. I really got good reviews on it. I think I have over 4.5 stars, which is good. I used both the early review program. I did not use VPON for that one, but also, sorry about that, so that cut out real quick, but also I had competitive pricing. So, and this just kind of popped up, I'm sure you just saw that. So I had competitive pricing. I like to sell in this range, the 40 to 65 or higher, right? So we can go higher than that. But this is why I think it was such a successful product. So you guys really have to think about all of these things when you launch a product, and this is what I'll be doing in the future. Make sure you're launching a product that, again, has pictures that match up with differentiation, that show your differentiation, show why it's a better product. Visually show that on the first picture, because you got to grab people's attention right away. You got to have a product that backs that up. That's a really great product. So you'll get good reviews, and then get quick reviews, VPON, early review program definitely, VPON, check it out for yourself, and competitive pricing to start. And you can raise that later. So I like the higher range. It doesn't have to be necessarily a bigger product, but it does have to be, I think, a higher price product, because everybody's trying to do that $20 product, right? It's very hard to compete at that level. You can do it. I do have a product that's actually between 15 and 20 that competes well, but it's harder to do. My ACOS is higher, everything's higher, and when I spend money, if I spend $2 or $3 a sale, and I'm only making $5 a sale, you can see how that's very hard to make money on that. So this is all things I think that would make a great product launch. And if you do have early reviewer program, like I mentioned, if you do have registry, which I'm working on, you can do that Vine program, I understand, which is going to give you a lot more reviews a lot faster. They're professional, basically like professional reviewers, so to speak. So yeah, get brand registered if you can. Very few sellers are. That'll really help you out as well. So you can use that Vine program in the future. But VPON is one people don't really talk about. It's like jump send for Jungle Scout, so definitely check that out. Doesn't work well in my experience with jump send, but VPon worked exceptionally well, getting me a lot of reviews fast. And again, they're not great reviews. You're not allowed to ask for positive reviews, but I find it does get you a lot of reviews. And if you did what I said up here, you should have good reviews, especially at a lower price. So hope this helps out, guys. Please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns, or you guys want to talk to me about anything. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know. Hope you guys have a great night. God bless. And I hope this helped you guys out. All right. Much love, everybody. Have a good night.